Katie reveals she talked to Blake Moynes before he showed up on her season. Hey guys, welcome to another Shared News from Home. We've got some tea on Katie and Blake, but first, if you're new here, make sure to ring the bell and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any future Bachelor Nation updates. As always, I'm your host, Morgan Wright, joined today by the lovely Fiona Zaring and Zachary Reality. So last night's episode ends and we see Blake in the teaser show up for Katie's season of The Bachelorette. Katie was really taken by surprise, but this actually isn't the first time she has spoken with Blake. But before we get into that, I want to know your guys' initial reactions to seeing Blake on the teaser, knowing that he may try to compete for Katie's heart this season. Fiona, what did you think?
You know what? I was actually surprised by how excited I was to see him. There were some spoiler pictures, paparazzi caught him on set. So I knew something was coming. But once it was official that he was, coming to try to join her season, shoot his shot, found myself getting really excited. I've said this before. I actually think they might have a lot of chemistry. They have a very similar sense of humor. I liked him on Tayshia's season. I don't know. I was pretty excited.
Yeah, it's always weird when someone like hops from another season. So initially I was just like, really? Like, why do you have to come here? Like, what are you doing? But I don't know, I'm kind of here for it too. And I also do agree with you, Fiona. I think that they would get along really well. So I'm kind of anxiously, like, really anticipating this. And I'm hoping for the best, but I don't know how the guys are going to react.
Yeah, that's true. It is never good when somebody comes in after night one and especially a previous contestant. So time will tell on that. But Katie kind of spills some tea as she said that they actually spoke before she started filming her season. She said a lot. We're going to break it down piece by piece to really dive deep into this. So she first said that she definitely knew who he was, Tayshia's ex-boyfriend. That's so weird. So that's kind of the first way that she addresses him, not as, oh, Blake's here. She says, oh, that's Tayshia's ex boyfriend. It is awkward, you guys. Tayshia is hosting the season. Do you think it was awkward for Tayshia to see Blake show up? What do you think, Zach?
Maybe a little bit, but Blake also, he did make it far, but he wasn't in hometowns. Like, she definitely wasn't in love with him. When they finally had that one-on-one date, it was kind of awkward. And I think Bachelor
Mhm.
Nation kind of runs in this incestuous circles where they all kind of date each other. So I don't think it's going to be too awkward for Tayshia. It's not like it was Ben or Ivan who hit like the top three, but it might take a second to digest.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that like even Brendan, right? Like there are other guys that I can think of from Tayshia's season that I would be like, "Ooh, this is hitting way too close to home. Like this is very, very strange. How could they truly be over her yet?" But I agree with you. I'm thinking back on that one-on-one that Blake and Tayshia finally had, and it really didn't work. I didn't see the chemistry there. And honestly, she is so happy with Zach that I think that she's in such a good place that probably like the most awkward part was thinking about how it could be awkward on paper, right? But I totally agree with you. Bachelor Nation is so incestuous. And I've seen people just in real life, not Bachelor Nation, kind of, within your friend group, go through things like this because at the end of the day, it is a small world. And if two people are meant to be, typically people are going to be happy for them, especially if they've moved on and are in a happy relationship themselves. So those initial moments I think may be a little weird. It's going to be interesting to see how they play out with Tayshia, Blake, and Katie, but I think I'm into it. I feel like I want to watch it all unfold even if it is awkward.
Yeah, so to dive deeper into what Katie said about Blake specifically, she said, we had chatted before, but usually what happens is like the guy will reach out to the women once they're eliminated and be like, good luck, you did great, like very generic. And so to see him, I was like, why is he here? What's happening? So that's pretty vague, right? She didn't say that he said, hi Katie, I want to come on your season of The Bachelorette. It more to me seems like, once she was eliminated from Matt James' season. Maybe he reached out to her via DM and just said something very generic, like, great job, loved you on the show. So very vague, like I said. Why do you think that he didn't try to talk to her more in the DMs? Like, do you think that his intentions on coming on the show are good? Because wouldn't you think that if he was really into Katie, he would just shoot his shot then and there? I mean, social
Mhm.
media, you can do anything you want. What do you think, Fiona?
You know, I'm gonna try to take the angle of he's here for the right reasons and see if I can play out this argument in my head because I'm very skeptical, but I do like him and I do see chemistry there. So I want to take the side of this is all above board. The only reason that I can come up with that at least tracks for me, and I hope somebody else has a better defense, maybe locked and loaded for him, is there's a global pandemic. So maybe he just felt like, I don't know, like this girl's really cool. We're in the, Bachelor Nation world together. Maybe I'll get a chance to meet her one day. Where am I going? What am I doing? Can I even take her out right now? And then it was like, okay, she's been announced as the Bachelorette. And he was like, oh, well, missed my chance. But then he was like, maybe I'm going to call up that producer I know because I really was hoping to ask her out one day or I don't know, end up in paradise with her. I'm trying really hard, as you can see, to lean into it being above board because I hate to think of him as just being there to potentially get more TV time because I don't want that for Katie. I don't want her to be led astray. I mean, what do you think, Zachary?
No, I don't think he's there for TV time. I think he's there for Katie because otherwise he could have just went to Paradise. I'm sure he would have been invited and there would have been more options. I think him and Katie
Mm-hmm.
definitely had a little bit of flirting going on before she went to filming, and that probably gave him the impression that she actually might be interested, because why put yourself in that situation where you're entering a mansion and all these other guys are going to be like, why is this guy here from last season? And then all the fans are going to be like, why is this guy here from last season? He looks like a bachelor hopper. Is this Heather part two? You're really setting yourself up to be embarrassed and have people hate on you. So I think he is definitely into Katie, and he probably got the impression that she might have been into him too and possibly even wanted him there. Otherwise, there is no point of showing up. I'm sure he could have got invited to Paradise.
Yeah, I feel like all three of us kind of agree that we could see Katie and Blake together. They would make a cute
Yeah.
couple. I think their personalities would match very well. But Katie's still being a little bit vague in the situation. She also said, I mean, we have to see if that's why he's even there. Like I said, he is Tayshia's ex boyfriend. So I don't know what's happening. Now, it's interesting. I want to remind you guys because Blake did say that he fell for both Tayshia and Claire on season 16 of The Bachelorette. So, hypothetically speaking, what are the chances that Blake is there to talk to Tayshia? I'm going to say zero. Honestly, I know that it's like a pretty
Five.
definitive answer, but I just don't. I do think that he's there for Katie, but I want your guys' opinion on it as well, Zach.
I don't think he's there for Tayshia. Tayshia is in a relationship with Zach. They are engaged. I think that he's there for Katie, like I just mentioned, but I think maybe he wants to get some closure with Tayshia. Maybe we'll see that conversation. But I think that's really weird that he fell for Claire and Tayshia, like both of them. Like that is just a little cringy to me. But we'll see. I hope that Blake shows up sooner rather than later, because the more weeks it takes for him to show up, we know he's not coming night one. Night one already happened. It's going to be a lot harder for him to fit in and get involved in the process, and with all the guys too. So I'm hoping he shows up in the next episode or two.
Yeah, Zach, I love what you said about clarity because let's remember Tayshia did not have an after the final rose with her guys. She never got to sit down with any of them to really hash out, what went wrong in their relationship. And I mean, I'm just having the visuals in my head of Tayshia and Blake's date where they were literally straddling each other, staring into each other's eyes. That was their date, right? Very intimate, very romantic from Blake's side of things. Do you think that maybe could have something to do with it, Fiona, that he didn't get the closure he wanted out of Tayshia? They didn't get an after the final rose with her. And maybe we'll see that conversation before he goes in to try to win Katie's heart. It seems like far fetched, but I don't want to put anything past the Bachelor franchise these days.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't either. I do think that, I'm thinking it through, and Heather drove her minivan. Who met her at the gate? It was Chris. So at the end of the day, the thought that, it's going to be Tia and Caitlyn, who Blake had sort of his case to initially, is definitely not too far out. And I do think that in the midst of pleading that case, Tayshia and Blake may have to have a little moment where they make it clear, even if it's just for sake of viewers, right? That their chapter is totally closed and that he has her blessing in a way, right? She's there to guide Katie to make sure that she ends up with a husband potentially at the end of this. So she wouldn't be doing her job if she didn't give him the third degree a little bit, I think. So
Mhm.
it will be interesting to see how all of that plays out. I have to say, the more and more we're talking about this, I'm starting to go full conspiracy. I think that maybe they are reshaping the narrative a little bit here to fit, a Bachelorette season. And I think it could have been a little bit more of behind closed doors. Listen, Blake wants to kind of see being like, honestly, we DM'd a little bit and kind of did hit it off. I would be open to that. I don't know. I'm going to see here, but I agree with Zach. I don't think they exchanged like a great job on Matt's season. Thanks so much. And then he just showed up. There's got to be a little bit more, just even if it's a small piece that they're not telling us. And I don't think it has really anything to do with Tayshia. Anything we see there, I think, is just
Mhm.
going to be for viewers' sake. But I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. It's really going to just be what happens on the show. We're going to have to wait and see.
It's very possible that he sent her a nude. You never
Is
know.
that something that he's known for?
Yeah, because on last season, he was the one that, carved the eggplant emoji in that clay date on Tayshia's season. We know that that is Blake's personality, and Katie is the sex positive bachelorette. So I think it's very possible that they could already have, sexual chemistry, and that is why he's showing up.
Wow.
That's true. That could be a very true point. This is how I think it's going to shake out, you guys, because Tayshia and Caitlyn both, but we're going to focus on Tayshia because it's about Blake, is there to protect Katie, to guide Katie, to mentor Katie. I think Tayshia is going to give Blake the third degree. And I think that she should. You're like, why you were
Mhm.
just on my season? Why are you now showing up to the very next Bachelorette season? I think that is the confrontation that we're going to see between Tayshia and Blake. I don't think it's going to be Blake saying, "Oh, Tayshia, I'm still in love with you. I need closure," or vice versa. But I think Tayshia's going to be protective of Katie and say, "Are you just here to get more screen time because you were just on my season? And I'm going to need some answers." So, like I said, because he did say he fell for both Tayshia and Claire, and now he's trying to win Katie's heart. Do we think that Blake may be just a hopeless romantic? Because I can see that. I think his personality, he really does want to find love. Maybe he's one of those guys that if any girl shows a little bit of interest, he's like head over heels, you know? What do you think?
Yeah.
Is Blake a hopeless romantic, Zach?
I mean, that's kind of what it seems like, that he's really falling really fast, because how did you fall in love with Claire? She was truly the bachelorette for 3 days. And those whole entire 3 days, she was focused on Dale the entire time. So he definitely seems like a hopeless romantic. Maybe he really does like whoever can give him attention. I don't know, Morgan, you might be next. I mean, he's really going down the line. Is he going to fall for Caitlyn next? Like, what is possibly next? It seems like Blake might fit better with Heather Martin, um, who was showed up to Matt James's season. Like, can we just ship them? Like, they might be perfect together. So I'm really anticipating Blake coming. And if it doesn't work out with Katie, I want to see him on Paradise too. Like, let's just keep him coming, because he seems like he's going to be great TV.
Yeah, I totally agree. I do think he's a hopeless romantic. And I just keep thinking about how, open he was about how he really, really, really wants to find someone. I hope he's actually truly ready to find someone. I wonder if he's one of those guys who really loves the idea of being in love and kind of throws himself in wholeheartedly, but isn't necessarily there. That being said, that makes great TV if we're all being honest. So if it doesn't work out with Katie, I'm with you. I'd love to get him straight on that beach. I think he has. Listen, every guy who goes on the show, every girl who goes on the show at this point, followers, all of the social media fame, it comes built in. I don't see anyone left that's truly there only 100% for those quote unquote right reasons. Maybe Michelle, she didn't even have an Instagram for Pete's sake, basically, before she went. But other than her, I can't really think of any other unicorns that I truly believe only have 100% pure intentions, but he's leaning on the side of the spectrum to me that he knows he's going to get the following, but other than that, I think he really is in it. So put him on the beach. Hope things go well with Katie. I think I'm on his team right now, you guys.
Yeah, and we all agree that we think chemistry wise, he fits best with Katie. So I am excited that he's showing up on her season. Fiona, how far do you think Blake is actually going to make it? Do you think he'll make it to hometowns? Do you think he'll end up winning her final rose? Predictions.
Well, here's the thing. We actually break down in another video the entire like season promo. And one of the moments that really stood out to me is it looks like there's certainly going to be a one-on-one date between Blake and Katie. If you watch closely, there's a moment where they're sort of at some sort of bonfire situation together. It's at night, it has one-on-one vibe, kissing. So I don't know that he's going to go as far as hometowns, but I certainly know he's going to go further than Heather did, right? I mean, it seems like Katie is really going to give him a shot, which I think I'm into. I mean, what do you think, Zach?
Well, I think it would be impossible for him not to go further than Heather. I think she lasted an entire 40 minutes on Matt James's season. I want to see Blake go exactly as far as he did on Tayshia's season. I think he got 5th or 6th place. That is my prediction on how far he's going to go. I want him to get the exact same placement, and that's just what I want to see. And then go to paradise.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. You want to see him in
I want to
paradise.
see
And I
him in
feel like
paradise.
that would be a good fit for him because, like we've said, he said he fell for Tayshia, he fell for Claire. We're assuming he's going to fall for Katie. So why not put him on a beach with 20 girls and see if he falls for all 20 of them? Well, that's all we have on the tea with Katie and Blake knowing each other before Katie's season started. Let us know in the comments, you guys. Do you think Blake is here for the right reasons? Do you think that him and Katie would be a good match? And how far do you think Blake is going to go on Katie's season? Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any Bachelor Nation updates. And of course, say hello to us on our social media handles. They're on the screen for you right now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.